So if I had 0.2, where is that 2? No, it's in the tenths place. It has 1 decimal place, so it's in the tenths place. So this just means 2 over 10. I can simplify it to be 1 over 5. So I turned a fraction or decimal into a fraction. If you had 0.15, we have 2 decimal places. So this means it's 15 over, let's see, 2 decimal places. Consider each decimal place to be a 0. So it's like saying 15 over 100. 2 decimal places, 2 zeros. I can reduce this, divide top and bottom by 5, so my final answer is 3 over 20. One more example. 0. Let's say 1, 2, 5. If I look here, there's 1, 2, 3 decimal places. If you treat each decimal place as a 0, it's like the 1,000th place. So your bottom number is a 1,000. Your top number is a 125. Let's see, I can divide top and bottom by 25. How many quarters go into $1.25?
5.
How many quarters go into $10? Very good, 40. 4 go into $1, 40 go into $10. I can reduce this again by 5, so this becomes 1 over 8. So these are all these are all decimals turning into fractions. If we go the other way around, we're going to turn a fraction like this, 1/2, into a decimal. Very basic ideas. The bottom number needs to be either a 10 or 100 or 1,000. I want this, I can turn this into a 10 by multiplying by 5, yes?
Yeah.
So what's 1 times 5?
5.
So 1/2 is the same as 5/10. So my final answer is just points. Well, how many zeros down here? 1. So I have 1 decimal place. And I fill that decimal place with a 5. So 0.5. If I had, let's say, 5 over 20, I can turn that into, let's turn it into a 100. 20 times what is 100?
5.
And what's 5 times 5? 25. So my final answer is point. Well, how many zeros are there?
2.
2 zeros, so I have 2 places, and I just fill it with a 2 and a 5. 0.25. What if, yes?
So if you have 2 zeros, it's going to be, so if you make it into a number that ends in a 0, it'll just be the top number.
Yes. Well, it has to be like a 1 with a bunch of zeros. So let's try another one that might be a little more difficult. What if I had 1 over 50? Well, I want to make the bottom number into a what?
100.
100. How do you do that?
Times 2.
So what's 1 times 2? 2. So this is just, oops, let me fix that. It's going to be point, how many spaces? 2 spaces. But I got it, no, not 20. That doesn't say 20. What does that say? 2. So I got to put that 2 on the end, and the 0 goes in front. So you start from putting the numbers down on the right, and then work your way to the left. So keep that in mind. This is something I want you to pay attention to. The bottom number has to be either like a 10, 100, maybe 1,000. But those zeros tell you how many decimal places there are. Do you understand that?
Yes.
That number on top just gets filled in. If there are any empty spaces, you fill zeros on this side here on the left. Got it? Yes. Do you understand that? Good. Yes.
So So wouldn't the decimal be in the middle?
No, there is no decimal in the middle because, again, you got to look at that. How many zeros are there?
2.
So here's my point. So how many spaces should I put after the point?
2.
2. That's what you got to do first. The 2, you just start your number on the end there, and that's it. What do I fill this with?
0.
A 0. So make sure you get that process set up. So if I had this, 16 over 10,000, how would I write that as a decimal? How many?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. And where does the 16 go?
6 goes after last one, and then 1 goes in front of it.
And what do I do with these two guys?
0.
Fill with zeros. Very good. All right. Let's see. 1 over 6. How would I turn that into a decimal? Yes.
You basically have 1 because there's a...
Nope.
No, you have...
That's not a 1. That's not a 10. That's not 100 or 1,000. So how am I going to do that?
1 divided by 6.
You could. There are a couple ways you can do it. A new way you could, well, not a new way, but not introduced here. You could just, this means 1 divided by 6. And just keep adding zeros and see how far you go. How many times does 6 go into 1?
9.
0.
How many times does 6 go into 10?
1.
How many times does 6 go into 40?
5.
6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. Ooh. That's again another 4. Drop another 0. How many times does 6 go into 40?
7.
Oh, that 6 is going to go on forever, right?
Yeah.
So the way you'd write that is 0.16, and what goes on forever? The 1, the 6, or both?
The 6.
Just the 6. So you just put a line over the 6. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, please click on this video right here. Otherwise, click on my last video right here. If you would like to subscribe, please click on the circle right on my face.